What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is T.E. Lawrence, and welcome to part 2 of the Helltaker tier list. So last time we ended at Lucifer, much to the chagrin of the Kapitán and the Korrupted Judge, who were outraged that we didn't finish part 1 without covering the High Prosecutor Judgement. My wife! Okay, I get it. God damn these Enclave. The Brotherhood of Steel should have won. What did you say? In all seriousness though, all great things require preparation, and for the High Prosecutor, you damn well bet I'm not gonna half-ass it. Here's an advice for my fellow artists. It's better to take your time and do it right, as opposed to rushing it. But now that part 2 is finally here, we shall begin with the one and only High Prosecutor Judgement. It's about time. Alright already, jeez. Anyways, without further ado, Judgement, the High Prosecutor. Of course, this one is a special one for the Kapitán and the Korrupted Judge, and we already know where the High Prosecutor is ranked. Still, that wouldn't do her any justice. So just like the awesome demon, it's glazing time! And just like glazed donuts, the High Prosecutor's looks are absolute perfection. To say she's a 3 of a kind is a severe understatement. Her hotness is the reason why the Earth's temperature keeps rising. Her beauty outshines even the likes of Aphrodite, who is the very personification of beauty. And her cuteness is the reason why diabetes will never be cured. It's very rare for someone to have 10 out of 10 looks, be it real people or fictional characters. Call me demanding or uptight, whatever. But in my books, you'd have to be truly exceptional to achieve such near perfection. But if there is a perfect being, or one damn near close to it, it is most definitely the High Prosecutor Judgement. It ain't just her tones and curves, it's also her silky hair, sparkly eyes, and smooth skin. She's got it all. Whether she's all dressed up, in her gym shorts, or even her casuals, the High Prosecutor looks great no matter what she dons. 10 out of 10, 3 of a kind, baby. Isn't that right, Kapitán? Kapitán? What the? Kapitán! Safe pohodya! Worry not, I've got this. Vezmi me a Judgement! Oh god, that was a close call. Maybe I should dial back on the glazing. All that said, the High Prosecutor's real selling point is actually her personality. I know, some of you may find that hard to believe, especially considering her murder chains and her job as a literal punisher for sinners. But remember, that's just her job, and her extreme persona is just a mask she has to wear. Because the truth is that Judgement is the kindest demon of all, possessing a soft heart for those in need, demonstrated by the ice cream date in Second Circle. And even if she comes off as a hard ass at times, the fact that she's actually quite responsible and suffers no fools makes it all an asset, as well as great wife material. As stated in my Judgement video, being wifey material is very different from a casual relationship. There's a deeper level of commitment and more responsibilities involved, which makes Judgement the most fit of all the demon gals to tie the knot. Therefore, the Kapitán and the Korrupted Judge really have some good taste for sure. Oh please, she's a loudmouth and a hard ass. Who could possibly be attracted towards such an ogre? Never mind even see her as marriage material. Oh, God bless your poor soul, Squiddy. Anyways, when it comes to her personality... Step aside, I'm taking over! What the hey? Listen up, Enclave here, and I will not sit idly by while some third-class mediocre clarinet player with a midlife crisis insults my wife like that! Her being a loudmouth or a hard ass is not a negative, thank you very much. It means she has high standards and is a responsible lady who suffers no fools, unlike the walking disasters like Cerberus. If you understood the High Prosecutor for who she is, you would actually appreciate those qualities. But most of y'all are just weak-ass motherfuckers to see that. She's both hot and sexy, as well as cute and beautiful, fierce and intimidating, but sweet and loving. Absolute tank of a woman, but melts when you wrap your arms around her. If sweet and spicy was a person, it would be her. There is literally no argument against any of that. She's best girl, best wife, period. She's a commitment, and only for someone willing to see past that hard, scary exterior. Only a few of us would truly understand that. Wow, absolutely beautiful, Kapitán. I should have handed you the podium from the start. It goes without saying, but Judgement will be a second addition to the S tier. You okay, Kapitán? She's not a hard ass. Screw you, Squidward. Don't worry, we'll have grilled octopus tonight. Whew, that was something. Now, on to Beelzebub. As stated in my Beel video, if you have a thing for older women, the Fly Demon is perfect for you. The Grand Dame definitely exudes major ara-ara energy, sort of like those playful older aunts you see in anime. That and her exceptional sense of fashion really nails the royalty part as well, because if you want to be queen, you gotta dress the part as well, unlike some wannabe CEO. Suffice it to say, as a more mature demon gal, Beelzebub most definitely leans towards the beautiful side. But that's not to say she can't be hot either. But can she be cute? Maybe in role-playing situations, perhaps, but I'm not sure if that fits her persona. But what about her personality? And as a Justice fan, perhaps you're worried that I might be biased against her. Worry not, because I actually like Beelzebub. I know, shocker, right? As much as Beelzebub is responsible for scarring Best Girl, all of that was eons ago, and it's pointless to still hold on to a grudge. In fact, the events that transpired back then aren't even relevant anymore. Besides, Justice herself seems to have moved on as well and not too bothered anymore. So if she's doing okay now, why should I be upset for her? But more importantly, Beelzebub actually has a lot of similarities with Justice, which is why I respect and admire her as well. For one, Beelzebub is actually quite the awesome demon as well. Just like Justice, Beelzebub also exudes natural charisma and allure. Whenever Beel appears, it is impossible to ignore her standing, and her mere presence instantly dominates the scene, without her even uttering a word. Unlike Lucifer, who always demands flattery as queen, Beel feels no need to put such active effort into earning adulation, because those who are truly confident of their standing do not need such external affirmation. Secondly, just like Justice, Beelzebub is quite the chill gal as well. As stated in our video, Beel is a kinder, gentler, and more lax version of Lucifer. While Lucy constantly bosses around her minions and throws hissy fits at any sign of pushback, the Fly Demon is wise enough to understand that such bullheaded approach will only take her so far. After all, the harder you push others, the harder they will push back. Therefore, Beelzebub resorts to a much lighter hand, using positive incentives and persuasion. Some of it does come off as manipulative, as the Fly Demon loves to play cat and mouse with her minions. Besides, it's better than walking around eggshells and getting stabbed by kitchen knives. In fact, I'd wager that if Beelzebub was Queen of Hell instead of Lucifer, Loremaster would have never become a thing in the first place. Yeah, I said it, Lucy fans. Fight me, you simps. However, like any other demon gal, I'd be remiss not to mention one drawback of the Fly Demon. And no, it's not being overly attached due to her loneliness in the abyss. It's something much worse, which is her potential dark side. Unfortunately, there's very little information on this detail, as well as a lot of conflicting speculations floating around the fandom. But in general, there seems to be this belief that Beelzebub is the very incarnation of pestilence, and therefore, once she's released from the abyss, her very presence will cause the entire world to devolve into a literal hellscape. Or perhaps even worse, something akin to the Brethren moons in Dead Space, or even the Flood in Halo. As a Halo aficionado, I would think not twice, nor thrice, but 10 times before releasing something that horrific. But once again, it's all speculation. Perhaps it's just propaganda by Lucifer to scare us all. Besides, the third date in Second Circle does show that Beelzebub herself at least isn't some deranged and vindictive lunatic we all fear to be. Therefore, I'm personally optimistic. That said, Beelzebub's verdict is an S. I know, another shocker, right? Even with all that praise for Beelzebub, as a Justice fan, you'd still think I'd rank her below her. And indeed, I did initially. But as I thought about it more, I found it harder to justify putting Beelzebub in the A tier, as unlike Azazel, the Fly Demon doesn't have serious improvable downsides like the other demon gals. Furthermore, Beelzebub is an overall better version of Lucifer, as well as having similarities to Justice the Awesome Demon, which actually makes the Fly Demon also awesome. So, Beelzebub fans, If you were worried that I'd rank her low because of our girl's past history, worry not. I actually love the Fly Demon, so rejoice. Perhaps this is a chance for a detente between our respective groups as well. So once again, Beelzebub will be placed on the S tier. I hope you're happy, J-Luckstar. Now, on to Generic. Oh, this one's gonna be a little tricky. As many of you know, Generic is actually a template demon, therefore not really a character in a traditional sense. Plus, her canon status is questionable as well, thus making it difficult to compare her to the rest of the Demon Gal harem. That said, her looks are definitely something we can grade, and her looks are, well, generic. No, really though. She certainly isn't bad looking by any means, nor super niche like Pandamonica or Zedrada. In fact, she comes off as that wholesome and cute girl next door, which you really can't go wrong with. That said, Genie doesn't really look exceptional either, like Judgement for example. Still, because of her generic looks, it allows Genie to be quite flexible in how she presents herself. In other words, Genie can be cute, hot, and beautiful, thus making her another addition to the three-of-a-kind Hall of Fame. However, what of her personality? Aside from just being the milquetoast nice girl, Genie doesn't seem to have much character at all. And you're right, which is what makes this grading so difficult for her. Unlike Zedrada or Cerberus, Genie doesn't have any massive downsides, or any downsides for that matter. Simultaneously, Genie doesn't have any super positive quirks like Azazel or Modius. She really is just a milquetoast nice girl who's generally supportive and wholesome. And there's nothing else to really add about her, which really does prove her quote-unquote generic status. I guess one could argue that her bland and generic character by its nature is a downside, since it makes her boring. Perhaps it is for those looking for some excitement in their lives, sure. But I say that's not really an objective downside, and more of a difference in taste and priorities. Rather, I think Generic is more of a neutral character, lacking any downsides, but also not being very exceptional either. Therefore, Generic's ranking will be an A. Sure, despite her generic nature, Genie is an overall very attractive girl and a generally pleasant person to be around. You really can't go wrong with her. That said, she's not exceptional either, such as the likes of Justice or Judgement, thus preventing her from reaching the S tier. So once again, Generic will be placed on the A tier. Now, on to Loremaster. Look, you guys already know what's coming, so I might as well rip off the band-aid. But before I unleash my displeasure, I'll at least give some credit to the Science Demon, which is her visual design, which I have to admit is quite impeccable. In fact, she isn't just some run-of-the-mill scientist in a lab coat. Her red visors and metallic arms give off major cyberpunk vibes, which is one of my favorite aesthetics, as shown by my own persona. And it really does go well with Loremaster's own mad scientist persona, as this cold and deranged psycho who will stop at nothing to ensure the success of her research. All ethics be damned. Unfortunately, therein lies the problem with Loremaster. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack from the Loremaster sims, but I fully stand by it when stating that she is the most reprehensible demon gal of the Helltaker universe. And no, it's not because I'm a die-hard Azazel fan who's upset that she fell. Even by demon standards, Loremaster is a special kind of evil that needs to be squashed. At the very least, the other demon gals have some standards and lines they do not cross. Lucifer, for all her narcissistic personality disorder, at least has some semblance of compassion and maternal instincts carried over from her heavenly days. Zedrada, despite being a crass bitch, at least has some empathy for those she cares about. But not with Loremaster. She is completely devoid of any morals and is purely fixated on her research, which is to cure sin. Although that may sound noble, this is not out of any goodness in her heart, but rather to indulge in her own deranged curiosity. And in doing so, she's committed numerous atrocities such as her horrific science experiments, all in the name of defeating evil, while failing to realize that she's become part of the very problem. It's very rare to find someone who's more evil than the devil itself, but if there was one, Loremaster would be it, and there is no redeeming her. So my recommendation? Immediate termination. Send in the T-800, goddammit. Forget dating or marriage material. The Science Demon don't even love you back, and you'll just end up as another test subject. Nothing more than a mere number on her data chart. Seriously, get out while you can. Suffice it to say, Loremaster will be graded as an E. The only thing that's stopping her from being ranked in the F tier is her impeccable design. That I give credit. And as stated in the previous Loremaster video, I do respect her character role in the Helltaker fandom. That said, Loremaster herself, hard pass. Once again, send in the T800. No, in fact, send in the T1000 just for extra measure. Also, Loreknower, just to answer your question from the Loremaster video, no, she ain't worth it. You dare slander best girl? Ah, speak of the devil, look who finally showed up. Place her in the S tier, now! Fat chance, bud. Last chance, Lawrence. Haha, I thought you pulled that again. Besides, that pea shooter ain't even gonna dent me. Perhaps, but this will. You're not the only one with the big guns, Loreknower. Kapitán! Kapitán, how could you? Sorry, Loreknower, but he put Judgement on S tier. I can't put my back on him. Come on, you'd betray your fellow Visegrad brother? I'm really sorry, Loreknower, but Judgement comes before the V4 any day. My loyalty's to the High Prosecutor. Zdrajcia! O, buhu, zagram ci smutnie pieśń na najmniejszych skrypciach świata. Naprawdę? Tak, to naprawdę najmniejsze skrypcie świata. Widzisz?
Hey, hold it. I'll be back, Benny.
John? Are we ready, John?
Oh boy, that ended well. Anyways, now finally onto the man himself. You may be wondering, why the hell is the Helltaker on this list? Well, dear viewers, he may be no demon gal, but the Helltaker still deserves a spotlight on this tier list because he is still the main superstar of the game. We can go on all day about which demon gal is the best, but the Helltaker is the one that managed to woo them all, for he is the Helltaker. The buff Phoenix Wright lookalike from Poland who isn't just built like a bunker, but also busts bunkers harder than the bunker buster from Fallout. Wow, that was a mouthful. And I'd even venture to say that if the Terminator ever needs a reboot, the Helltaker is perfect for the casting. It's time for some Polish representation in Hollywood action movies anyways. But the Helltaker isn't just some horny meathead, as his true magic is his charms and flattery. As cheesy as his lines may be, the Helltaker himself has some massive balls of steel to go down the depths of hell and use pickup lines on literal demons. And that's how confident he is because he doesn't give a damn how cringe he comes across. He could really care less what others think of him because only one thing matters to him, which is to gather a harem of hot demon girls. And he succeeds at doing exactly that. But the Helltaker's charms don't end there because after he brings his harem up to earth, the man himself somehow manages to not only keep their infernal impulses under control, but also provide them a better life than the one each respective demon gal had back down in hell. Whether it's teaching Modius the concept of romance, encouraging Judgement to rediscover her kind self, or being a house husband to the literal devil, the Helltaker did the impossible, which is to tame and satisfy the demons of hell. And that is why the Helltaker is such a spectacular main character, ladies and gentlemen. The man himself is not just a Chad built like a brick house, but also an esteemed gentleman who takes hats in a dignified manner. Oh, you mean like a weenie? No, Patrick, not like a weenie. Fish paste! Like Kiryu Kazuma from the Yakuza series, the Helltaker is a sweetheart who lends a helping hand to those in need, but also wouldn't hesitate to get those same hands dirty against any who dare to harm the same people in need. As stated in my Helltaker video, women want him and men want to be him, for he is the Helltaker. Therefore, the Helltaker will be placed not in the S tier, but a tier reserved just for him. The Helltaker will be placed on the Chad tier, for the man himself transcends the traditional tier list. And that finally wraps up the whole tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the final result for each Demon Girl's placement. As you can see, the data is shaped like a reverse pyramid in a way, with 3 S's, 2 A's, 2 C's, 1 D, and 1 E. And of course, a special tier for the man himself. Fortunately, no one is placed at the F tier, so everyone can sign relief. And of course, here's a special list of honor for the 3 of a kind demon gals. Still, I imagine many of you will disagree with this tier list. This is already evident by the displeasure of Cerberus fans in Part 1's comment section, and I can already see an even bigger uproar from the Loremaster fans in this one. But that's fine because I have the backing of the fans of the undisputed best girls Justice and Judgment. With those two on our side, we're unstoppable. In all seriousness though, this is just my take on things, and once again, I do not claim to be the objective arbiter for all the girls of Helltaker. More importantly, these are just fictional drawings at the end of the day. It ain't that deep, people. Still, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with this list? Or does it make you see that your favorite demon gal isn't placed on the S tier? Or are you about to write a whole damn essay about how wrong I am? If it's the latter, give it your best shot, because I'm ready for it all, baby. Before we end this video, however, I'd like to make an announcement. It goes without question that Justice and Judgment are S tier, for they are undisputedly the best girls of Helltaker. Muscular and action-packed tomboys are supreme, and I don't care if anyone says otherwise. These two Amazon ladies are the hottest, strongest, kindest, and most beautiful of not just the household, but the entire Helltaker universe itself. They're already great on their own, but together, these two high prosecutors will not only be greater, but also completely unstoppable. For they are best girls. Even if you combine the rest of the Helltaker demon gals against them, they won't even so much as make a dent against such overwhelming awesomeness. Not even heaven can stand up against them. So cope and seethe, Saint Micah. Henceforth, I announce the creation of the High Prosecutors Alliance, where fans of both Justice and Judgment can not only support and promote each other, but also defend each other against their respective haters. An attack on one of them will be treated as an attack on both of them. So to the Judgment fans, you have my full support, for we Justice fans will have your back. So come join the High Prosecutors Alliance, where you will be among some of the big shots of the fandom like Kapitán Sládek, Korrupted Judge, and of course, yours truly. Therefore, fans of both High Prosecutors and Best Girls, unite! Unite! Jednota! Thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting this channel. My $5 patrons are Kapitán Sládek, Kidzap, and Chocobird. My $2 patrons are Komida the Prep Cook Demon. If you would like to appear at the end credits of my videos, as well as have early access and exclusive content on Patreon, feel free to hop on over to patreon.com/LTELawrence and give a pledge. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you would like to see my artwork as well, feel free to check out my other platforms like DeviantArt for my entire gallery. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is T. Lawrence signing out. Have a good one.